Hey, I'm Angie Cha-Cha, and I'm chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Angie Cha-Cha.
He was in charge of taking the troops out because he was high rank. So he's the one that's in charge whenever they go out from the walls of their security where they're at when they're stationed over there. So they go and they're in this building, and he orders that there's fire shots coming from the building across for them. So as they're clearing this building out, fire shots are coming from the building across from them. So he orders his troops to fire back. So then they go and they clear that building out. Well, when they go and clear that building out, there's a mother and a father, and they're screaming and crying, and they're speaking in Arabic, saying that you killed our daughter. And there's a little 9-year-old girl there, and she's got bullet wounds, because those bullets came from his people that fired over to that building.
So who's shooting?
Hit somebody in the building.
Yeah, was it the father? Was it the little kids?
I don't know. I never got into that deep of the story with him. I let him tell it how he wanted to tell it. But there was somebody over there at them, and he back. I don't think it was the father, because they got a 9-year-old daughter up inside of there. I think it was somebody else in the building. And that bullet just hit their daughter. And so he grabs the little girl, and her eyes are open looking at him, and she dies in his arms. And that stayed with him. He could not get that image out of his head. He was like severely traumatized by this. And I was the only person that he ever told this to. He never told his therapist, because he was going to therapy after he got diagnosed with the PTSD. He started going to therapy, taking medication. He did not tell nobody this. He told me, and I'm the only motherfucker on this earth that knows his deep, dark secret that he had. And that is what he was battling with. And so, I felt really bad for him that he was going through what he was going through. But at the same time, he was becoming very dangerous to me, because months after that happened, like after the key incident, taking the keys from him and stuff like that, he had another episode. And this time he had the gun, and he had the barrel part where the handle was left showing, and he was shoving it in my face, telling me to take the gun and end his life. And I was like, no. I was like, what are you doing? I'm not doing this. Now, this was around September 2014. So he's doing all this, trying to force me to take the gun from him. And I'm like, no, you stop. What are you doing? Like, I'm not doing this with you. So I'm like running from him. So I'm running downstairs, and we end up in the kitchen. And when we get in the kitchen, he goes and he takes the gun and he puts it to his head. And I just was like, oh my God. And I turned my head, because I didn't know what the fuck else to do. Like, this is just a natural reaction. Like, I don't want to see that image left in my mind if that's what you're going to do to yourself. It's like, I'm not trying to go run and wrestle the gun out of your hand either, because then I could get, I'm just not knowing what to do at this point. Like, by this time, I'm just so traumatized by all the stuff that's been happening so far, like the Ouija board, the demonic entity in the fucking house, and the Grim Reaper in my son's room in the middle of the night, and the one time that he had the one gun outside and pointing it back and forth, and I'm stranded in Richmond and in the cold, and my mind was gone. I just was like, oh my God, like, what? I am living a nightmare right now. So he points the gun to his head, and I flinch, and I do like this, and he shoots the gun. And I'm like slowly pulling my hands down and looking and turning around, because I just thought I was going to see him with a bullet wound in his head. He's standing there with the gun like this. And he was like, you wasn't even going to do anything. You wasn't even going to try to stop me. And I said, what the do you want me to do? I said, this is getting out of hand. This is crazy. I cannot take this no more. I said, you know what? I'm going to make this real easy for both of us. And I said, I'm done. We are done. This is done. Okay. So after he did that, he goes, because this motherfucker is trained. All right. Like I said, he done been in the military for over 26 years. He goes to the damn garage and he gets spackle and he starts covering up the holes. And the bullet went all the way up to the second floor, all the way into the roof, okay, in the attic, all right? He's spackling up the hole in the kitchen. He's going upstairs to the second floor, and he's spackling up the hole where the carpet is, and he's spackling up the hole on the ceiling up there. And then this motherfucker gets all of his guns, and he puts them in a big-ass black duffel bag, and he leaves. Come to find out, he had him a little motherfucker storage unit that he would go to be his little man cave to get the fuck away from me. And that's where he would go and hide out at. So that's where he took his guns to. And I called the police. And just like I said, the police is always on the side of someone that's a vet. And now I look like I'm the crazy one. Now I'm like, no, come on. Because you guys always, I've been called you guys out here multiple times because he's been abusive to me, putting his hands on me. And you all always try to make it like I'm the problem because I have a history of mental illness. So let's go look at the evidence. So I showed him the holes that he covered and spackled up. I said, you see that? That's from a bullet wound. That's a bullet hole from him shooting the gun. And I go upstairs and I show him. I said, you see this here? And I open up the carpet. I said, you see that? White that's him covering that. You see that on the ceiling? That's because the bullet went through all these floors up into the attic. And I said, but y'all want to keep on like I'm the crazy one, right? Do you think they did anything to that man? Do you think they arrested him? No, nothing happened to him, right? So I just knew, like, if I stayed there, I was gonna be dead meat because they don't have my side. They keep trying to cover him. So guess what? I'm gonna go.
And this is in September, right? September still?
September 2014. So I ended up leaving, and he tells me I ended up leaving, and this was like going to my mom's, and then like, so the next month is October, Halloween, right? So he comes and he picks me up to go. He's like, hey, he was like, do you want to go to Outcast is having a party in Atlanta? And I'm in Georgia, mind you, okay? I'm living with my mama, moved down to Hinesville, Georgia at the time. She had ended up getting a divorce and everything from my stepdad. So she had moved down there after the divorce. So she's like, so I had called her and I told her everything that was going on. I was like, Mom, can I please come and stay with you? And I was like, cause I just like, Maurice is doing too goddamn much. Like, I can't deal with this shit no more. So she's like, yeah, she was like, come on, you don't need to deal with that. She was like, I'm sorry you're going through that. Come and stay with your mommy. You're going to be okay. So I go stay with my mama. And he tells me, we stay in contact with each other because, mind you, my daughter is 16 at the time. She's still living there because she always viewed Maurice as her dad. Like, that was a dad figure to her. She called him dad and everything. And she's going to high school. So I didn't want to take her in and out of high school. And I didn't feel no threat like that he would do anything to my daughter. And she didn't neither. So we agreed that she would stay there living with him and I would go to my mom. So that's what we did. So I had a conversation with him before I left. And I told him, I said, like, you're my soulmate. I love you. I care about you. And I said, you're just not the type of soulmate that I need in my life. And he always told me that if I wanted to leave, that he would take me wherever I wanted to go, since he uprooted me from my family and moved me out there to a state where I don't have no connections. So he took me to my mama's house. And then in October, when it was time for the party, he came and he picked me up, and I decided to go back to Virginia with him because Thanksgiving was the next month. So I was just like, I want to spend Thanksgiving with my daughter. So like, I'll go back and I'll spend Thanksgiving. So I go, and that was just a bad idea because I ended up like having like a mental breakdown. And it was like because I was talking to one of the POs and she was like, uh, all my life people have come to me when they have problems. Like I'm just everybody's therapist, right?
Yeah.
So she comes and she's like telling me what she's going through with her man and stuff. And I'm telling her, you know, like, you need to leave. That's abusive. I understand what you're going through. Like, I'm going through it too with Maurice. You know, I've been through other domestic violence situations. Like, you need to go. Well, I guess she went blurted her mouth and told her man what I said. And then he called
Oh,
Maurice. And now
no.
Maurice is looking at me and he's like, you need to stay out of people's business, blah, 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 blah. And now I'm triggered because, like, I have a purpose here and that's the help people, and you're trying to keep me from my purpose and what I'm supposed to do, and I didn't do anything wrong. I'm trying to help somebody by being logical and telling them to leave an abusive relationship, and you're trying to make me like I'm the problem. So I just wigged the fuck out, and I had a whole like, because of everything that happened, I finally snapped, and I was just like woo woo, and I was like banging my head on the wall. I was pulling my hair out. I was like, ah! I was screaming everything. Like, it was so bad that they had to call the police and have the ambulance come and pick me up and escort me by ambulance to the psych ward because I was that far gone. So I end up staying in the psych ward. Now I'm in the psych ward and it's Thanksgiving. And instead of spending Thanksgiving with my daughter like I wanted to do, I'm spending it in a psych ward. Well, he comes to visit me one day on Thanksgiving Day, okay? Everybody's there. They're eating with their family and all that shit. All I wanted was him to bring my fucking daughter up there so that I could see my daughter, so I could spend time with somebody, some family. But no, he comes up there by himself, and it's like 5 minutes till visitation is over with. And I'm like, what the fuck are you even here for? And then you didn't even bring my daughter. So now I'm pissed off at him because, like, your excuse is, oh, you went and spent Thanksgiving with your dad and you waited to come to see me at the last minute when you have all this other years to spend Thanksgiving with your dad, when you done spent plenty of Thanksgivings with him. This is not the time for that, mother. The time for this is to be here for me, because what you need to be doing is working on gaining my trust back, and so that we can be in a better place. But all you're doing is making it worse. So all right, you go, you get the fuck out of here. I don't want to see you. So as he's walking off, I can see him like wiping his face from behind. You know, he's wiping his tears, he's crying, but I didn't give a fuck by that time. So when I get out the hospital, I tell him, take me back to my mama house. So he takes me to my mama house, and I let him sleep in my room because my mama had a 3-bedroom. So I let him sleep in my room, and I slept on the couch. And when he left, he's all like crying and hugging me and telling me to take care of myself. He's telling my mama to take care of me, and he's like, you need to take your medicine. And I'm like, I'm not taking no medicine. This is what y'all motherfuckers want me to do. Y'all want me to think that I'm the problem and that I'm crazy and that I have mental illness, and that's what's causing me to go through all this, instead of taking accountability for it being you. You're the problem. And so he ends up leaving and going back home, right? So I don't hear nothing from him. The day before he passes away, he sends me a text message because, like, my daughter had a doctor's appointment. So like he tells me, he's like, it's like 5 p.m. or something that he texts me, and he's like, call me. But I didn't call him because, like, I was trying to talk to him as least as I possibly could, because, like, I'm still like very angry with him. Like, I really don't have nothing to say. You know, like, I want you to go to a therapist and get some help for yourself, because something ain't right with you, bro. Okay. So at this point, you know, I don't call him. And at 3 or 4 a.m., I get a call in the middle of the night from one of his bros. And they're like, Cha, you know, like, where are you at? And I'm like, at home. And they're like, can you sit down? Cause you need to sit down, you know, because I got something I gotta tell you. And I said, what do you gotta tell me? Just tell me what you gotta tell me, because it's like 3 in the middle of the night. Like, what are you calling me for? And they're like, I'm sorry, I hate to tell you, but Monster just passed. Monster was his biker name. Monster just passed away in a motorcycle accident. I said, is this some kind of joke? And they're like, no, like I wouldn't joke about something like that with you, Cha Cha. Like he's gone.